Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. So it's been a very interesting week in crypto. There's been a lot of bleeding. There's been a lot of negatives. There's been a lot of downsides. But overall, right, guys, we are in a bull market. And if we look at the previous three halving cycles, we look at the starting price of Bitcoin, we look at the all-time high that year, there is a huge difference in price. So whatever we're going to go to this time, it's just going to be phenomenal. And we're so close to it now. We've bled so much as a community, specifically the LUNC community. But this news is very interesting from my perspective. There's so much buzz around this case, around DK, around his issue, if he's going to be extradited to America, if he's going to be extradited to South Korea. And I've explained to people a few times that he's got access to funds, which means he's got access to a good legal team, which enables him to keep fighting those extradition charges and more or less just keep appealing it as long as he's got money to pay out. But there is a substantial update to more or less go over here. But if we take a quick look at the LUNC price first, we can see that there's a small reaction going on. This very, very small candle, by all means, it's small. It signals something very interesting on the chart. Technical wise, we've got back above the trend line. If we hold this, we could move up and get back on trajectory with that head and shoulders trajectory line, which is where we want to be at the moment, is in this area here. So we've spoken a little bit about price here. Let's talk now about the subject in hand. And if you just go and do a search of DK on the routers and have a look what's going on, there's lots of different articles out there, but there are a couple that really caught my attention. This is the first one. Postponement granted, Montenegro holds off Dokwon's extradition. So once again, having the extradition, which was supposedly confirmed to South Korea, is now being set into a state where it needs to go into review. There'll be requests. He'll get to contest and appeal the court's decision. It's going to be an interesting situation to see how all of this pans out. Now, what's even more interesting currently is the news that has just come out on the back of this. So let's take a look at this article. And this is overly bullish for us. If he goes on Twitter, he gets access to Twitter and simply just does a tweet saying, "Steady lads," the likelihood is the whole crypto market's going to go up. I've spoken a few times about all of the key players in crypto. For example, like political figureheads of crypto, SBF, DK, so many people, even CZ himself, currently in America. He can't even travel back to his home country of Dubai, which is very interesting to say the least. So this in itself could just be overly bullish. So Dokwon to be released on house arrest, extradition process halted as prosecutor cites procedural errors. So Terra executive Dokwon is set to be released on house arrest by Montenegro court order. It comes after the country's Supreme Court officially confirmed that the South Korean citizen's passport has been revoked. So Kwon is wanted in connection with the $40 billion collapse of Terra UST stablecoin in 2022. So this is really interesting. His passport in itself for South Korea has been revoked. So trying to even extradite him at this point is going to be pretty complicated. His actual punishment time that he was supposed to spend in jail, he's past that now. He's served the sentence. But it's really interesting to see how this panned out. Now, I'm absolutely certain that he is going to end up in the States at some point. Crazier things have happened, and I just think he's a very, very good, more or less part of a trident for Gary Gensler to use to push his own ambitions, and other things like that. Now, with all of this being said, right, what's the likelihood of him going on Twitter and simply tweeting "Steady lads"? Well, quite high if you ask me, because he's going to be so more or less in a situation where he's probably got a lot he wants to tell. He wants to let people know he's back in a situation where he's playing hide and seek, for example, again, because he could go on the run again. And this is kind of what I'm thinking could be the case. He could get released on house arrest and he could try to make that journey from Montenegro and end up in Dubai like he had originally planned with his accomplice that he traveled with. So I think we could be in for a decent game of hide and seek. I think it's going to be interesting, and overall this is probably going to be pretty bullish for the price of LUNC, Luna and USTC moving forward. Even with all of those substantial burns going on, a lot of the liquidity exiting USTC, it's still moving, it's still pushing upwards, and we can see this currently on the chart. It has moved up on that hourly candle with LUNC. So like I was saying, we're not getting a DCA out signal here. We got one here earlier, but it's come down and it's come back up. And like I said, off the bat, this news is overly bullish from my perspective, because it's the man, the myth, the legend himself. As much as he's responsible for the collapse, and I do want to see him get in the States, I also would like to see some decent gains. I'd like to see the price of everything go up a little bit. And hey, maybe he can have some fun whilst he's at it. But let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'll keep you updated on the DK situation as much as I can, as much as it transpires, and whatever's kind of interesting to you guys and relevant, I'll keep getting those articles out. Other than that, guys, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, I will catch you in the next one.